Once again, it's me, Brian Redmond, and I am coming to you from the new channel, United Guns of America. If you haven't subscribed, click in one of those corners there. Make sure that you do. And also, I want you to share this message. So I think this is a really important topic that I want to talk about just for a few minutes, just to give my ideas about it. So everyone has been talking about in politics and just in conversations online, social media, everyone is talking about teachers carrying guns, right? That's like the hottest topic going on right now. So should teachers carry guns in schools? Well, I think we have to have the discussion about that. I think there needs to be a discussion about that because I personally believe that it is a possibility for not teachers, but certain teachers that choose to carry that responsibility of carrying a firearm. I think they should have that choice or that option. So when you're talking about how does that work and what does that look like? Well, it's not really complicated. We're not talking about teachers walking around the classroom with a Desert Eagle on their hip, walking around knocking stuff over when they're passing out papers in the classroom. We're not talking about doing that. We're talking about certain teachers that have the mental fortitude that want to shoulder that responsibility, because if none of them should have to, but if there are maybe one or two in a school or even one in a school that wants to shoulder that responsibility of carrying a firearm on them, because a lot of them do already, they just don't do it at work. So it's not like this is something that is totally foreign to a person carrying a gun on their job. It's not, because plenty of teachers, I'm sure, have guns locked in their cars, and when they get off work, they go to their vehicles and they put them on, and then they drive home at the end of the day. So I think that it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. The conversation should be had, and I personally believe that the option should be given. Should it be a mandate for teachers to carry guns? Nope, it should not be. That is a daunting responsibility to carry, to be able to have, and having the power or the authority, or having the responsibility, I should say, that's the best word, having the responsibility of carrying a weapon on your person that can actually end another person's life. That is a very daunting responsibility, and everybody is not built to have that responsibility, and everybody shouldn't have that responsibility. But if there is a teacher that wants to carry that responsibility, I think they absolutely should have the option to, because at the end of the day, when we talk about being safe in our schools, getting our children safe, well, I mean, at the end of the day, the best solution for us to curb this thing, I am not one that's going to say we have to take away all the guns and can't nobody get guns until they're 30. I'm not that guy. But what I would say the best solution would be is that, first and foremost, there needs to be established a federal or state or co-funded both law enforcement department for the school system. And that should be across the board. Just like what happened when the planes hit the Twin Towers, what did we do? We came up with the TSA. And at the end of the day, you say what you want to say. Is the TSA cumbersome? Yeah. Is the TSA, annoying thing to have to go through now when we fly through our airports? Absolutely. But it has created a safer environment. Is it perfect? No way. Is it something where it can never ever happen again? Nope. But it is definitely a deterrent, and that's what you need. You cannot find a cure and say, if we eliminated this would never happen again. People that say that are just afraid of what's going on, and they are not being logical in what it is that they're thinking about trying to do, because ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to stop and we're trying to curb or subside mass shootings. That's it. You can say, well, if we didn't have this, we would never have them. That's not even remotely true. That's not even close to being true. A mass shooting is going to happen at some point. They've been happening for the past 100 years. It happens. We want to curb, or we want to subdue the frequency. And that is going to be by creating an environment to where there is, or a possibility of, opposition. So when it comes to that, that's why I say my first solution, the best solution, in my opinion, is going to be a law enforcement department or division that is specifically geared towards and is all about training and having well-trained officers in a specific department that is geared towards nothing but policing and keeping our schools safe. not locking kids up for not having their homework, not going around the lockers and all that kind of crazy stuff. But these people are here to help secure the premises and to keep the children safe in case there is a situation of a mass shooting or where someone's life is in danger. This person is on site and can respond quicker than a 911 call. It's that simple. So, getting back to the teacher thing. So when we're talking about teachers, like I said, first and foremost, it should only be an option. It should only be an option. The reason why I say it should be an option because everybody's not equipped to do it, like I said before. But my philosophy is this, and this is what a lot of us gun enthusiasts and sheepdog mentality guys and girls are thinking about. When it comes to mass shootings, or when it comes to just people with guns, when it comes to just, violent crimes and things like that, the only thing that stops a bad person with a gun is a good person with a gun. You want to stop a bad guy, you want to stop the bad guys with guns, you have to have good guys with guns, because that's essentially what will stop bad guys with guns. Banning guns, it's not gonna fix it. When you look at Chicago, hometown, shout out to Chi-Town. When you look at Chicago, they just recently got concealed carry permits or concealed pistol licenses to where people can actually carry guns in that city. Years before that, it's been one of the most gun-rich, gun-violent cities in our country. Why is that? They were illegal. You couldn't have them, but yet and still people still had them. So you can't just take that right or that privilege or make it a privilege and take it away. It's a right. So at the end of the day, the only thing that's gonna stop bad guys with guns are good guys with guns. Law enforcement officers, your everyday good guy that has their CPLs that cannot necessarily go and fight crime, but they can at least give themselves an opportunity to defend themselves. So that's my philosophy with that. I think that if you do have teachers with guns, if you do have that handful or that small percentage, let's just say something like maybe 10% of teachers in schools carry guns. Let's just say that. You now would have to have some type of, I would say maybe like biannual mandatory trainings for situational awareness and firearms training. So that means these teachers that do carry, twice a year, they have to go and shoot, and they have to go through tactical drills to learn how to, behave and carry themselves and how to follow protocol if something like a mass shooting does happen. So I definitely would say that would be first and foremost that you would have to do. I would say also too, with carrying a concealed weapon, I would say that any teacher that does that, they would have to carry a firearm in a level 2 or level 3 holster. And basically, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's just basically the security of the holster. There are some holsters where you can just pull your gun straight out. There are other holsters where you have to push a little button to slide the gun out. And there are even some where you have to rock the gun forward and push the button to pull your weapon out. And the reason why I say that is because you never know what can happen. A teacher could be bending over to pick up some papers. He could be breaking up a fight, or she could be, in the middle of two girls fighting or something like that, and somebody could reach for that gun. That in itself would be a tragedy. But if you have a certain security level or retention holster, then that's something that's not going to happen where they can just grab your gun and then go do something stupid. So having some type of security or a higher level of retention on that firearm to where it can't just be pulled out by somebody, it has to be like the person who has it, that would absolutely work. Police officers have those on their guns, and how often do you hear of a police officer getting their gun taken from them in a holster? Very rarely happens. So also too, when we're talking about just overall the idea of this and not necessarily knowing who has what, but when you create a presence of well-trained law enforcement and there is a possibility or people know that there are possibilities of not just a well-trained officers in this building with firearms, but there are possibly teachers and maybe even faculty members that may have firearms as well, then now you have created a resistance, if you will, for those cowards that choose to shoot up a school. That coward that thinks they're going to walk into school on Friday and just start shooting because of whatever reason he or she has been bullied for the last time, now they're going to have to think twice because they're going to say, well, wait, such and such may have a gun, or this person here may have a gun, or Mr. Redmond might be at school today and he's the... When you have to think about those type of things, it's a deterrent, and that's what you want. most active shooters choose the path of least resistance. They choose the easy targets, which is why most of these mass shootings happen in places where people don't have guns. That's why you don't hear about a mass shooting happening at a gun store. You don't hear about a mass shooting happening at a gun show. You don't hear about mass shootings happening in places where people in the public can carry firearms because they don't want the opposition. Now, is that 100% truth and certainty? No, because there's always an anomaly. But in general, you want to deter that. I think that in all reality, and we may not want to admit it and look at it this way, you can't stop people from dying, but you can absolutely curb the frequency of it. When you look at things like drunk driving, when you look at automobiles, when you look at airplane crashes, those are things that keep happening and they won't ever stop happening. So that's why we don't ban planes, we don't ban cars, because it's something that is going to happen. People have accidents. Whether you're texting and driving, whether you just drank a fifth of vodka and you're driving, it happens. However, what you want to do is create some type of safety protocols to help that. Better roads. You have laws against not wearing your seatbelt. You have laws about your airplane safety, keeping your airplanes, cleaner, keeping them newer and things like that. So you just want to have the best possible situation where something like that doesn't happen. Doesn't mean that it won't. And that's the same thing when it comes to firearms. You can't ban firearms because at the end of the day, if I got this gun and I got it legally or illegally, I can still take a life. And that's just the fact of it. People who want to do this type of thing, they will find a way. You can create guns with 3D printers now. So it's like there isn't a thing about a ban. A ban isn't nothing but a law that's going to stop. And the only people that are going to be affected by that are law-abiding citizens. That kid or that coward that wants to get a gun will buy one, or hell, in today's time can even make one. So that's what I want people to understand from this message. It's about being proactive and it's about being realistic about the situation that we're dealing with. Let's try to make our environment safer by empowering each other, not taking things away from each other. I hope that this helps. Please like, subscribe, and share this message. If you got any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments below. Shoot me an email at ugoa1791 at gmail.com. I hope to hear from you guys. I'd love to have a conversation. So please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I'm Brian Redmond. This is the United Guns of America.